Okay guys, it's time to look at some examples, some illustrative games of discoveries, alright? So the first couple games are very one-sided, but they give a clear example of the power of discoveries, alright? So let's check it out. d4, 96, c4, e6, 93, bishop b4. Okay, so this is the Nimzo Indian defense, but not a bad defense for black against the queen's pawn opening. g3, b6. Bishop g2, a little bit funny. Bishop so attacks the rook straight away. Knight c6. e3, bishop b7. And now white plays a really bad move. He plays queen c2. I guess he didn't want black to take this knight and double the pawns. But you can see that this bishop indirectly attacks this bishop here. So black can move his knight with the gain of time. Knight takes d4, attacks the queen and threatens a fork here, while also discovered attack of this bishop here. So knight takes d4, nice move. They must take it, and then bishop takes g2, wins a rook in the corner as well. So that move, knight takes d4, pretty reasonable, and black will go on to win. Okay. Here's another game played in 1910 between Reti and Tartakoa, powerhouses during that period of history. So e4, c6, d4, d5, knight c3, pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, knight f6. These days white just takes this knight, but he played queen d3. And black played e5, trying to open up the position with a tactical trick. The idea is after pawn takes, queen a5 check, forks this pawn and he gets the pawn back. So take bishop d2, queen takes, castle queenside. The problem is that white's development is very good, right? His castle can got heaps of pieces out. Black takes this knight, which is not a very good move, but of course it's natural that he could have missed white's brilliant following move, queen d8 check. So that's pretty cool. The move queen d8 check, obviously that queen's not even protected, right? So king takes it, but then we have what type of discovery? We have a double check. Remember, double check is when we check with two pieces at the same time. Check. So queen d8 check, king takes, bishop g5 double check, king c7, and a cute little finish, bishop d8 checkmate, right? Really nice finish to the game. That double check was lethal, right? Okay, next game. This one has appeared in millions of games, particularly between juniors. e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, knight takes pawn, knight takes pawn. Most people know now that d6 is better. Kick the knight out of the center first. Knight takes pawn. The reason why is queen e2. When the knight runs away, we have this setup here. Knight c6, discovered check, and we get to take the queen next move, right? Check, and white will win. I've seen a game between some juniors once that was interesting though, when bishop e7, knight takes, king takes, d4, rook e8. Alright, black's already lost his queen. I've seen this at a junior tournament once, and he's threatening something here. So white moves his queen, a huge blunder, but this is pretty cool. I've seen some kid do this, bishop b4 double check. Right, we know double check's very powerful. King here, and then rook e1 checkmate. Right, so white won earlier with a discovered check, but then black wins with a double check and a mate. So pretty cool example there anyway. Okay, so let's see this one. e4, e5, f4, king's gambit. This is opening is takes bishop c4, bishop c5, d4, bishop e7. Okay, black hasn't played this very well. Knight f3, bishop h4 check. Okay, whatever. g3, good response, takes and castles. See, white cares more about development, which means getting his pieces out than he does about losing a few pawns on the king's side. G takes h2 check, and the king just moves. And see, white's king's pretty safe here, and he has excellent development of his pieces. So bishop e7, and now how many times has black moved his bishop? Bishop c5, right? Then bishop back to e7, then bishop h4 check, then bishop back to e7. It moves the bishop 4 times. This is unforgivable really in the opening. So white starts attacking now. Bishop takes f7 check, nice move. King basically must take. So then c knight e5 is a double check, which means, remember, as we know about double checks, the king has to move. Then queen h5 check, g6, knight takes, exploiting a pin here. Black goes knight f6, attacking the queen, and that knight's not a big deal, he just takes it. Bishop takes, then knight takes h8, discovered check, king moves, queen f7 check, bishop f4 check, queen d5 check. This is what we call a king hunt, the king's just getting killed, check, king here, and bishop takes c7, and that's a double threat, or fork we could call it. Attacks the queen and threatens mate on a5, so that is basically decisive, right? The game's over. But very nice examples here. If we go back to the key position, bishop takes check, then knight e5 double check, and then discovered check, and then he goes on to win. So lots of tactics that we've already learnt within this game. It's a very nice game. And the next one, remember I showed you the windmill theme before in the drill section. This game is very nice. Between Emmanuel Lascar was black against a guy called Torre, and Emmanuel Lascar didn't lose very often, particularly 1925. He's extremely good, but the way that this game is won is very nice. So we'll just go through. Okay, so both sides developing their pieces in a standard way. The way Lascar's developing is similar to a hedgehog structure, which is very sophisticated for the 1920s. Knight f8, that's probably why he went knight f8. Okay, so bishop back to c1. White doesn't want to swap pieces. Knight d5. Knight g5. Okay, so b5. Knight a3. b4. I think I would prefer just play a6 here for black, but okay, b4. Takes, queen h5. Queen h5, good move. White has excellent attacking prospects now. The queen attacks here. Bishops have aiming at the king side. The rooks can lift. And so I think white has great attacking chances, but black exchanges some of the key pieces. It takes this bishop, so it can't attack the king side. Rook takes. Now the only downside to this rook taking is that it can swing over sometimes. And so that might be a problem. This knight on a3 is not particularly good, but white has aggressive intentions with those pieces on the king side. So we'll see. Queen a5. b4, very interesting move. b4 is actually. So queen f5. Rook g3. Lots of pieces on the king side now. h6. Knight c4. Interesting move. And now if pawn takes bishop, knight takes d6 looks very annoying, right? Forking those three pieces, so he moves his queen back. White goes knight e3, attacking the queen again. And the queen moves again. And so I've deliberately gone through the game up to this point because I wanted to show you the key part of the game. Black has been deliberately trying to keep this pin on the 5th rank here so that white can't save his bishop, but now he saves it with a beautiful move, bishop f6. And this is going to initiate the windmill tactic that I showed you before. A windmill is a series of forced discovered checks which the opponent can't escape from. I'll show you what I mean. Queen takes h5, then rook takes g7 check, king h8. And you see now we have our discovery theme. Rook takes f7 check, king g8, rook g7 check, king h8. Rook takes b7 check, king h8. See how black is forced to just keep spinning the windmill, right? Rook g7 check, king h8. Rook g5 check. So we're going check, 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 check. And then he gets his queen back as well. Rook takes h5. And white goes on to win in a few moves. So that's really cool, that discovery tactic, that the windmill tactic. And so in this position, suddenly Torre is 3 pawns up and he goes on to win pretty comfortably. So I suggest you go through those games over the board. You have the PDF below this video, and really admire how beautifully that these guys played the games. So now those are the discoveries, I believe. Let me just check. Yep, that's all the discoveries. So I hope you guys like those discovery games. I think they're very, with the exception of the very obvious ones at the start, I think there's some beautiful examples. And now we are going to go on to the final section, which is a bonus section, which is combining... Oh, wait a second. No, I'm completely wrong. You're going to go and do your worksheets first, right? Go and do your worksheets, and then after the worksheets, then I'll see you in the final section. See you later.